Canada's House of Commons observed a moment of silence to mark the first anniversary of the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, who was Nijjar? A Canadian celebrity, a freedom fighter, a member of parliament? Well, Nijjar is a member, or rather was a member of the band Sikhs for Justice that calls for a separate state of Khalistan. What's more, he was the chief of the Khalistan Tiger Force, a terrorist organization. Now, he was gunned down by armed miscreants last year. And here you have a picture of this activist holding an AK-47 assault rifle in Canada. Now, the possession of that rifle could get you a 5-year jail sentence in Canada. Not just that, while the House of Commons was holding this 1-minute memorial service for this man, there was a large protest in front of India's consulate in Vancouver, in which posters of Talvinder Singh Parmar, who's considered the mastermind of the bombing of Air India Flight 182, the Kanishka, were displayed. Now, the Kanishka bombing is one of the worst incidents of terrorism in the world. 329 civilians, including 86 children, were killed. This incident is observed in Canada as the National Day of Remembrance for the victims of terrorism. Let me say this in a different way. The Canadians were celebrating the killing of innocent Canadians by a Canadian who had placed the bomb on the plane. And they were celebrating this in front of the Indian consulate in Canada. And the Canadian Parliament was commemorating a man who's part of the violent ideology which led to the bombing of Kanishka nearly 4 decades ago. Now, while this is about the Canadians, we in India who are facing terrorism on a daily basis, Mumbai, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, we understand the killing of innocent people in terror attacks more than anyone else. And keeping the 39th anniversary of the Kanishka bombing on the 23rd of June in mind, we pay our homage to the victims with a 1-minute silence. Thank you. 329 lives lost by an ideology that's now being celebrated, that's being observed in Canada nearly 4 decades ago. Why does Canada indulge in doublespeak, and how does India tackle this Canadian Khalistani provocation? Joining me to discuss this are Sanjay Lazar, who lost his parents and sister in the Kanishka bombing. Sanjay, I want to start by asking you, your story is one of grit, resilience, courage, all of this and more. In fact, I don't know of anyone who's lost their entire family like this in a terror attack. You were literally orphaned 4 decades ago. It's one of the worst terror attacks of its kind before 9/11. And then you dusted yourself, picked up the pieces, got back to work, and today you are in London on your way to Ireland to commemorate the 39th anniversary of that horrible incident which cost you your family. And at the same time, you have the Canadian Parliament standing up to observe a minute's silence for a man who's part of that same violent ideology that cost you your family. What are your thoughts on this?
Sandeep, thank you for having me on the show. Like you said, I've just landed at Heathrow and I'm in London. on my way en route to Ireland to commemorate the memorial ceremony and speak uh, at the Cork County Council's meeting. It is shocking. First of all, it's, for a nation like Canada who went all out to, build memorials and try, and after they messed it up for the first 5 years, they didn't prosecute the killers. They let them get away. After the John Major inquiry, just then see as I was taking off from Delhi this early last night, I saw visuals of people protesting outside the Vancouver embassy, raising flags of Khalistan. I also now landed to the news that the Canadian Parliament has, observed a moment's silence for Hardeep Nijjar, who is a Khalistani terrorist and nothing more. And that too, few days before the anniversary of the bombing of Air India 182. How much more hypocritical can a nation get?